All right, New York Jet fans, FSPN, Frankie from Flatbush, the crook from the brook. We don't have too much news to talk about. It's Tuesday. It's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, including myself. uh, but we don't have that much really to talk about news-wise. The Jets are getting prepared to play a Thursday night game against the Patriots. In case you haven't heard, the Patriots are doing really well. One of the reasons, Drake May, elite quarterback. And they got the coach, they got the quarterback, they got it all going on. Their defense isn't so great, but in the next year or two, we anticipate that old Mike Vrabel will have that fixed. And then the Patriots will have another 20-year run of greatness. So, where does that leave us? Well, it leaves Aaron Glenn fighting with reporters about injuries. Now, apparently today, the thing that pissed him off was that Rich Cimini, yesterday I think it was, put out a tweet saying, hey, Garrett Wilson, per sources, is going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. Not going to have surgery, but he's going to be out with the knee injury. And he was quoting anonymous sources. And then today in Glenn's press conference, he said, I'm not going to get into any injuries. You can just ask Rich. And he pointed to Rich Cimini, and Rich Cimini wasn't there for some reason, which was pretty funny. I thought that was great. And then when somebody tried to follow up later in the press conference, he said, well, I'm not going to tell you anything about that. You can just go ask Rich. Meaning Rich Cimini. Meaning, if Rich Cimini has all the information from anonymous sources, well, just go ask him. What do you need me for? What do you need me to tell you about it for? I think this is fantastic. Now, of course, the media is going to probably go crazy with this and not like it very much. And my whole thing is, well, why don't you just ask the anonymous source? Now, who could be the anonymous source, do you think? Now, here we're going to get into some serious business. So as with all of these beat reporters, their bread and butter, the relationships that matter to them the most are the player agents. Why is that? Because they're the ones who have the information first. Usually the player gets it, then they call their agent. That's the first thing that happens. If they're getting diagnosed or whatever's happening, the agent is usually one of the first to know. And then the agent has exclusive information, which he can then traffic however he wants to in order to sort of like massage and further and manipulate and manage the relationships that he or she needs in the media. Because the media is very important to player agents. And so, more than likely, the anonymous source, we don't know, of course, but I'm speculating it's probably Garrett Wilson's agents. Now, Garrett Wilson's agents are CAA Football. It's a huge company. They have over 150 NFL players under management, and they also represent a good number of coaches through Jimmy Sexton. If you don't know who Jimmy Sexton is, basically runs college football. You see these $53 million buyouts. Guess who negotiated those? For the most part, it's Jimmy Sexton. Excellent agent, probably not a good human being, but if you need an agent, if you need somebody to negotiate your contract, Jimmy Sexton's the guy to go get. And so CAA is a big, giant company. And so according to Spot Track, Garrett Wilson's agents are Graylin Crane and Jeff Nally. I've never heard of them. You've never heard of them. Nobody's ever heard of them. But they're agents over at CAA. And like I said, CAA is a gigantic company. They also have entertainment and other things. Within the last decade or so, they've started taking on sports, like a lot of these agencies. And so that's most likely where it came from. And so my whole thing is, look, Graylin and Jeff Nally, whoever it was who leaked it, just put your name on it. You know, don't be anonymous. Just come out and say, yeah, I'm telling Rich Cimini it's going to be 3 weeks on the injury on Garrett or whatever the thing is. If people want to hide behind anonymity and then manipulate the media in order to manipulate public perception, in order to get more money for their people. This is how it works. It's the real world. So I'm naming names. Just keep in mind, old Frankie, not suicidal. I love life. I want to live to be 400 years old. I do not want to die anytime soon. So in case you see a story, old Frankie from Flatbush killed himself, you know it's bullshit. And I told you here first. But I just think, and it's me speculating, maybe it's not them. I don't know what Rich Cimini's sources are. They never tell us the sources. This is the problem with journalism. One of the many problems we have with journalism and why FSPN exists and why we do what we do here. There's many different things we do here. One of them is to critique the media because the media is, I think, a bullshit institution. Think about it. They get to put out reports with anonymous sources. They never have to tell us who the sources are. They never have to tell us what kind of sources they are. Are they credible? Are they crackheads? Who are they? And so how is a journalist ever going to be held accountable by anybody other than their bosses who have a vested interest in them not being discredited? You see? These people sort of have immunity as they run through life. It's kind of a bullshit thing because, and then you have the independent media is supposed to really hold accountable in political reporting and real, things that are important. Historically, you would have an independent media sort of shaming the mainstream media into covering stories about, Vietnam or, World War II or whatever's going on, Gulf War, important stuff. But now we're talking about sports, so, it's not quite the same. But then you have independent media people like Badlands. They got Zach Rosenblather on the payroll. He works for them. Imagine, he works for The Athletic. That's not good enough. He's got to go work for Joe Asaroso. What the fuck is that? And you have Jets Media, Richie, trying to legitimize his outfit over there. And he has Zach Rosenblather come on. And other people have Country Club Connor Hughes come on, and this one come on, and that one come on. And I understand it, but I'm not falling for that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Frankie's going to stay independent. You're not going to see mainstream media people on this channel. And you're like, I don't care, Frankie. We have standards here at FSPN, even if you don't care about them. Man, I crack myself up. You ever crack yourself up? It's one of the best joys in life. Just crack yourself up. Oy, oy, oy. So that's what we got. Glenn continues to be combative with the media. We'll see how that works out long term. If he doesn't win, it doesn't really matter because the media will kill him, but the media will kill him for losing anyway, if you think about it. And if he starts winning, then the fans will be more on his side. Then the news media will be a little bit reticent to sort of attack him. But if he's losing and the fans are not on his side, then they have carte blanche to go hog wild on him. So that's the risk he runs. But if you notice somebody like a Mike Vrabel, for example, the guy we're playing on Thursday, he's the same way with the media. I've watched plenty of press conferences with Mike Vrabel, as well as Bill Belichick before him. And they're not friendly to the media at all. Kyle Shanahan, he's not friendly to the media at all. He hates the media. Now, somebody like a Dan Campbell is a little more friendly to the media. I'm not exactly sure how Dan was before they started winning over there in Detroit, but he takes a more friendly approach. Robert Saleh took the friendly approach, and they still killed him. So, as we all know, media is a big problem. It's one of the things that we do on this channel, and also I would encourage folks to follow me on X. I try to very nicely correct, cajole, improve the journalists who are covering our favorite team and the athletes we love. And I love Aaron Glenn, even though we're not winning. I wish like crazy we could win just so he could get a fair shake. But if all you do is lose, the fans are going to get very upset, and understandably so. We've lost for such a long time. But anyways, that's what's going on. In case you want a little preview of the Thursday game, it's going to be Drake May throwing bombs. That kid is a great deep ball thrower. He's also a great athlete, can run around, do all the athletic stuff. But where he really excels and what makes him elite is his deep ball accuracy. So from a pure football standpoint, you might want to sit back and go, wow, look at that deep one. But from the Jets fan point of view, it's going to be like, oh God, here we go. And plus they have a brand new running back out of Ohio State, Travion Henderson, in case you haven't seen him, very fast, lightning quick. And they have old Ramondre Stevenson still as well. And you can also watch Will Campbell, the tackle taken before Mambu. And the one I told you is OT1, Mambu OT2, but pretty close. And a lot of other people who are employed by Badlands said, no, Will Campbell, he's a guard. Wrong. But anyway, we don't need to get into all that. I've already pissed off enough people in this video. But that's what's going on this Tuesday. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you next time.